Hey folks, Brian Martin coming at you from Four State Trucks here in Joplin, Missouri, and I've got our resident top tech, Michael Forst.
How you doing?
Michael, a call we get several times a week is I bought my single headlights and I'm trying to put them on my 379. I hooked the green wire on the headlight to the green wire on my wire harness, the red wire to the red, the blue to the blue, and everything is acting crazy. So when people call in with that question, what would be your recommendations for assistance? I know when they do that, when they match color for color, it never works. Necessarily what United Pacific or Grand General in some cases uses for the red, the black, the white, the blue is never going to be what Peterbilt used for those same color wires.
That's absolutely right. The aftermarket manufacturers don't adhere to the same type of codes and standards that Peterbilt or Kenworth, anybody does. Even different models are wired differently. On this UP light though, there is a guide on the box. On some of them it's actually inside the box with a little sticker telling us which wires, the low beam positive, the high beam positive, the ground, and this eyebrow turn signal light up here.
So are there some of these wires on the aftermarket headlights that you've found do pretty much remain constant?
Most of the time, black is a ground, red's high beam, and if you've got either green, I think I've seen some that might be brown. There might be brown on these up here, but typically red's high, black's ground. In this case here, the green is the low beam, which we can check that here. I've got my ground lead on that. There's our high beam and our low beam. And the lastly on here is telling us the white wire is this up here. And I'm checking this out and I'm not getting a function to there. Reason for that being this light up here is not wired to the ground on the headlights. It's actually wired into the housing of the light. So I can power it up there.
So the turn signal marker light ground is the post that you're actually mounting the headlight to your truck with, whereas the high beam, low beam ground is over here.
Yeah, and a lot of times these won't work because your hood's not grounded as well as you think it might be or should be. Between the pivot pins and bushings and everything and all the different components, you might not be getting a good ground. So if you're having an issue after you've wired it up right, that not working, just take a jumper wire from the housing inside here, the hood gusset, and just run it to the chassis somewhere or an additional ground to check that out.
And if that fixes your problem, you can just make you a quick ground wire from your hood assembly to your frame, problem solved.
Yeah, that'll probably alleviate some other problems you may be having with light up hood ornaments or something else also. Another big thing, I should say a telltale sign that you've got wires wrong in here. Peterbilt uses, on a 379 for example, uses the same color wires here, but they're different functions. They use a green for ground, red for high, and black for low. If you went color for color and matched these up, you'll notice that on high beam, you're gonna have a really low, ultra dim light. On low beam, you'll have probably about the same as low, or maybe even less. But the main thing that'll throw you is that your high beam indicator in the dash will be lit bright like normal, or it'll be slowly dim. It won't be completely on or off. And that's happening because your power is going through both filaments of the light, so it's losing voltage and it's kind of backfeeding and throwing you some stuff there.
So as of lately, United Pacific has started putting the wire functions on the box, which is great. Grand General may have something, a card inside the box, we're not sure. Some colors that generally remain constant on the headlight assemblies is black is ground, red is gonna typically be your high beam power. And then one more time, Mike, on the 379s, what'd you say may remain a constant on the truck side of the wiring colors?
Typically, black will be low, the red's gonna be high, and green is ground. They've got a ground that's green in the headlight side, as well as the turn and marker is also green, so you've got a green on both of those.
Good stuff. And if your high beam indicator is not working correctly, telltale sign the wiring is wrong. If your high beam headlights seem unusually dim, that's a telltale sign the wiring is wrong. Now on 379s, 06 and up even into the 389s, they're probably going to need to get a headlight relay kit to really make this sync with the computers and all the wiring on their truck.
Yeah, most of these higher output incandescent lights draw more amperage than what the computer wants the system to be drawing, and it thinks it's got a problem. So it'll light up for a few seconds and go out. It'll come back on for a few seconds and back out. And it's just pulling too many amps is what the problem is. So we've come up with a kit to put a relay in there so that the light is not drawing all the power through the computer. It's only the computer's only powering the relay, and then we're sending battery power to the lights.
So if you've got an 06, 07 379 or a newer Peterbilt 389, that's a video for another day. But pretty much on your 05 and olders, everything we covered here today in the wiring and the installation, sync up of the wiring should be applicable.
That's right.
All right, well, we hope those tips will help everybody out. And if you need anything else, you can reach us at forstatrucks.com.